Is there an element of nepotism in bodybuilding coaching in terms of their sponsorships and in terms of their coaches and who's who and brushing shoulders? I think there's an element of nepotism in every industry.
Absolutely.
A lot of people said Sibu's not going to get to the highest echelons of the sport because he has a local coach.
Yeah.
He seems to have got pretty far already. And one thing I don't like is you don't, the race, the proverbial race has only just started. You don't, the competitors are starting to run. You don't, resign yourself to the fact that certain competitors are not going to make it before the finish line is even anywhere near the finish line.
Yeah.
So I've said to Sibu that I've made it very clear that I've only got his best interests at heart.
Yeah.
I'm very unapologetic about the fact that as a coach, I will most definitely ride his coattails to success. So what does that mean? As he becomes a better and better athlete, it's not going to be, there's going to be no ambiguity about the fact that I'm going to look like a better coach.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win scenario. The better he does, the more I look like a fantastic coach. So it's a happy buyer, happy seller scenario. But having said that, if I ever felt that the potential nepotism in the bodybuilding industry, in any industry, shortchanged Sibu's placings or shows, I would very, very, very happily step away.
Yes.
And I'd even go so far as to extend my financial aid to help Sibu procure a coach that would sort of take him to the next level. At this stage in the game, it's far too early. I'm never, ever going to back anyone more than myself. I feel that I can take Sibu all the way.
Yeah.
Not just because I have this huge knowledge, far from it. I'm relatively new in the industry, internationally speaking. I'm also learning daily. But in terms of the relationship that Sibu and I have cultivated, the story that we have, between the two of us, I think is very important.
Yes.
South Africans, he's a black guy, I'm a white guy. A lot of people look at that face value and go, what's that got to do with anything? It's got a lot to do with anything, with South Africa and South African history, and it's important. And the level of faith that he has in me and the level of faith that I have in him and our relationship and our mutual reciprocation for one another and our respect and reversion for one another is so important. And
do you not think this is also like a recently new thing with regards to back to the topic of you not being a coach from the States, for example? I mean, look back to bodybuilders who won Mr. Olympia in the past. I mean,
who was Dorian Yates' coach?
Exactly, and Dorian Yates wasn't even from the States. I mean, he used to fly in once a year to the States to compete in the Mr. O, win it, and then fuck off back to the UK.
Sure, and I mean, again, with respect, I mean, Chad Nichols only really came on the scene during the Ronnie Coleman era.
Yes.
Who was Chad Nichols prior to that?
Exactly. So I think the sports kind of seems to be drifting in a I don't know, I'm not going to say funny direction, but I mean, we all understand the benefits of a good coach and what a difference they can make to your training.
And yes, there are going to be elements of nepotism and everything.
Politics should be left out of the judging.
As far as I'm concerned, and I say it to every single one of my athletes, and a lot of times I say it to athletes that don't feel they got the placing they deserve, I said, get better.
Yes.
Be fucking undeniable on that stage.
So they can't misplace you.
Yes, it doesn't matter. People are like, oh, well, look at history, look at people like uncrowned Olympians like Flex and this and this and this.
They just weren't good enough at the time.
That's it. Flex was amazing.
Yeah, on his
but
own.
Ronnie, he was competing against Ronnie Coleman.
So Flex looked amazing on his own, but standing next to Ronnie Coleman,
it was clear as day who the winner was.
Yeah.
So, like I've said to Sibu, like I've said to any of my athletes, you need to be undeniably, unequivocally, and irrefutably the best on the stage. And if you're not, do better. And I feel that I can consistently get my athletes better and better and better and better, provided that they bring their work ethic and they match mine. We can get into the stars and beyond. And like I've said, I will very, very gracefully bow out if ever I felt that my relationship with Sibu or any athlete discredit them in the federations that we wanted them to do and we wanted them to succeed in. Because their goals mean a lot more to me than a financial annuity or
the reward that comes with the win.
I'm not going to be able to succeed in the highest echelons of the sport if my athlete's being blackballed by being associated with me. So why would I do that?